The Flying Dutchman, the world's most famous sea mysteries, is written and read by me, Albert Jack. We all love a good mystery, don't we? And by all, I mean each and every one of us are or will be captivated at one time or another by a decent, real-life, scary mystery. Either one of the world's most famous, or something on a much smaller scale. But writing a book on just one of these would have been relatively easy. The challenge came from researching many of them and then condensing them down in a way that I know you, my reader, will enjoy them. And that is in short, sharp, informative sections that can be read on the train, on the bus, or whilst you're waiting to pick the kids up from school. In other words, the challenge was to explain each mystery in a way you can enjoy and absorb in about 10 minutes flat. Therefore, inevitably, some of the information will be missing, for which I apologize in advance. But the missing detail isn't critical to the basic story. The core details of the mystery in question should all be in there, and this brings me to an important point. Given that I'm a fan of the unknown and the unexplained, I have not set out to be a mystery buster in this series. Instead, I wanted to tell the story, reveal some little-known detail, and offer a rational explanation wherever I could. I wanted to provoke a bit of thought and conversation wherever I could and leave you to decide the answer for yourselves. Does the story remain a mystery, in your view, or have you managed to piece together a theory of your own that you can share with friends? Although, to be fair, I must admit there are some cases where I just couldn't resist presenting some of my own ideas and giving full rein to my skepticism. But don't let that stop you from enjoying yourselves. Here then are 6 of the world's most famous mysteries of the sea.
Whatever happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? The Mary Celeste was a ghost ship found off the coast of Portugal in 1872. Why she had been abandoned has been the subject of endless speculation ever since. One calm, quiet afternoon in December 1872, Seaman John Johnson peered through his telescope from the deck of the Dei Gratia, or Thanks to God in English. Alarmed by what he had seen, he shouted down for the second mate, John Wright, to join him, and the 2 men stared at the ship sailing erratically on the horizon. They then summoned the captain, David Reed Morehouse, and first mate, Oliver Duveau. Morehouse at once recognised the Mary Celeste, which had put to sea from New York only 7 days before the Dei Gratia. Despite the absence of distress signals, Morehouse knew something had to be wrong. Nobody appeared to be guiding the vessel, and so he steered his ship closer. After 2 hours, Morehouse concluded the Mary Celeste was drifting, and so he dispatched Duveau and some deckhands in a small rowboat to investigate, and one of the most puzzling sea mysteries of all time began to unfold. For the brigantine was completely deserted. It was later recorded, although not by Duveau himself, who kept his information for the later inquest he knew he would have to attend, that the boarding party came upon mugs of teas and a half-eaten meal left out on the table, and a fat ship's cat fast asleep on a locker. Mysterious cuts had been made in part of the railing, some strange slits had been cut into the deck, and a blood-stained sword was discovered under the captain's bed. 2 small hatches to the cargo hold were open, although the main one was secure, and 9 of the 17,001 barrels of American alcohol were empty. A spool of cotton was balanced on a sewing machine, and given the slightest movement would clearly have rolled off if the sea hadn't been so calm. A clock was turning backwards, and the compass had been broken, but there were no signs of a violent struggle, and even more mysteriously, no sign of Captain Briggs, his wife, his daughter, the single passenger, or any of the 7-man crew. Curiously, the vessel's sextant, navigation book, chronometer, ship's register, and other papers were all missing, while the captain's log lay open and ready for use upon his desk. It appeared that the people on board the Mary Celeste had simply vanished in the middle of eating breakfast, never to be seen again. This is the story that became the accepted version of events. But as we delve into the truth of the tale, we will try to find out what really happened and how the legend has grown to become one of the greatest sea mysteries of all time. Following the discovery of the ghost ship, people's imaginations were working overtime. The Boston Post reported on the 24th of February 1873 that it was now believed that the Mary Celeste was seized by pirates in the latter part of November, and that the captain...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?